morning and good afternoon to everyone. I hope everyone is having a good day so far. Today we're going to talk about the easiest way to save time and money, and that is automated billing. What I'm going to do, I'm going to discuss some topics and share some information with all of you guys, and this is just informative info. And at the end of the presentation, I'm going to also provide my own suggestion. This is just what I feel as the best option out there, and you can choose what you want to do with that suggestion. All right. Who am I? My name is Nima Jazbi. I'm the Director of Customer Service here at Champions Way. I've been with the company for 6 years and counting with both Champions Way and PerfectMIND. Over kind of my experience in the past 6 years, I've helped over 1,000 businesses to set up automated billing for their businesses. And at Champions Way, we process about $150 million a year through our basically billing direct system. Now, first thing that always people ask is, how do I measure what are the cornerstones for billing? How do I know if billing is, the billing option that I currently have in place is good or bad? Overall, I can't think of any other cornerstones other than the three that I have basically on this screen. First thing is always money. And, is it cheaper for me? Is it more expensive for me? That's the first way for you to obviously know if your current billing method is a good method or not. The second is time. This is one of those things, and we'll talk about it a little bit more in detail, but not many people kind of put value on their time that they put in doing billing. It is possible that in a billing option it's cheap. However, the time that you put into it and the time you invest in to actually process, your transactions, it's still also something that you have to take into consideration. And again, we'll talk a bit more about it. And lastly, is it reliable? When we're talking about financial, it must be reliable. Money needs to be on the account when it should be on the account, and so on and so forth. And again, we'll talk a bit about that as well. First, basically, cornerstone is money, right? And again, this is probably the easiest measurement out there to understand if if the billing option that you have is good or bad. And it's common sense. 2% is higher than 1%. So if you have a 1%, basically transaction fee, obviously it's better than the 2%, and so on and so forth. I'm sure everybody can easily measure what's better than other when comparing rates. The second cornerstone is time. How much is your time worth? This is, again, one of the most difficult ones for a lot of people because not everybody basically is able to put value on their time. And the time that you spend in actually processing your transactions, the time you spend to handle your billing, collect the funds from your customers, deposit the money into your bank account, and all that it comes with it is also very, very valuable for most of the businesses out there, especially the small businesses. Now, what we're going to do shortly, we're going to also talk about kind of this easy calculation of how you can, calculate the costs out there for you. The next option is if it's reliable. All of us have bills to pay, especially with small businesses. We can't wait too long for us to get the money, and we can't obviously encounter problems. So reliability is a very important factor. We need to make sure, and the billing option that we choose must basically get the money into our account when it should be in our account. Any problems, obviously, creates risk, and that also is a very big measurement when you're trying to measure if your billing option is good or bad. Now, we're going to go back to time. This is the biggest question. Again, a lot of people that I personally talk to are not, I've never really thought about this, and that is the value of their time. and they don't also know how to actually put value on their time. This is very important. Although you might, for example, have one option. Let's say you're getting basically cash, right? So getting the cash, so the amount of time that you put in to actually handle the money, the amount of time basically you put in to understand who has paid you, who hasn't paid you, and the amount of time that it actually takes you to deposit all the money. This is all that you have to factor when you're trying to actually find the costs of your billing method. Now we're going to go basically talk about how you can actually calculate the value of the value behind your time. It's a very easy calculation. How you can actually calculate that is the income that you get per month divided by the hours that you worked for that month. This will give you a understanding of how much your time is worth. Easy example is, let's say you're basically earning $10,000 per month and you put 200 hours in the business, so your time is valued at $50 an hour. Now this was obviously just a quick example. So because we're going to talk about the value of time quite a bit during this presentation, I want to basically do an exercise. What I want everybody to actually just take out a piece of paper, and we're going to do this calculation for every individual out there. Now you don't have to be exact to the penny, but what do we want to do? We want to calculate basically how much your time is worth for you. So we need three values on the piece of paper that you hopefully have around. Put in how much basically money you earn monthly, divide it by how many basically hours you put into the business monthly. I know it's sometimes a tough basically number to know, since most of us put a lot of time and hours basically in our business, but try to just put a ballpark figure. And lastly, by dividing these two numbers, we can understand how much our time is worth. Now, if you don't even know the ballpark figures of these values, which I'm sure most of you guys out there do, there's also another way to actually calculate, or estimate how much your time is worth. If you're doing any type of private training, private lessons, private basic instruction, then you obviously are charging, for those sessions. If you're, for example, doing a private lesson for $80 an hour, then your time is valued at $80 an hour. So that's also a very easy way for you to be able to calculate basically how much your time is valued at. I'm going to give a few minutes to everyone, making sure everyone has these numbers, because again, we're going to come to these numbers, later on the slides as well. All right, so we're going to talk about the different billing methods that I personally seen, in the past 6-7 years. I can only categorize the billing methods in 4 different methods. One is manual or in-house. So I have a picture of a credit card swiper or terminal. This is what I usually mean. It could also be just cash business, which it's not that common anymore. Most of us who are doing manual or in-house billing, that means that we have a terminal from the bank and we're swiping the credit cards on it in a monthly basis or on a regular basis, depending if it's just a one-time transaction or if it's a recurring transaction. See, most people have an Excel sheet or some sort of document that's telling them basically who to charge, and they have all the credit card numbers, and every month they go in and they just punch in the numbers and press process and so on and so forth. The second option that I see often, especially in fitness, martial arts industry, is billing companies. We all know about them. Most of us have dealt with the billing company at some point during our lives. So basically, we'll also talk about that a little bit more in depth. Third option is bank. Some people I see that deal with the bank directly, so they get some sort of merchant or automated billing process through their bank, and they run everything through that. We'll talk about that as well. And lastly, automated billing options. So any type of automated billing option that you have which automatically processes the payments for you. So the first option, manual or in-house? Like I said again, it's usually the terminals, and how it would usually work is, again, you have some sort of document that reminds you, or even if you have an application that reminds you who should be charged on what date and how much they should be charged for. So what usually happens, one of the basically staff members in the business, or if it's a one-man show, the owner of the business will basically have a list of who needs to be charged, the amounts and the date. On those days, they go on the credit card terminal, they're punching the credit card numbers, the amounts, and they process one after another. Now, the pros and cons of this. Well, the pros, it's a cheap rate. With credit card terminals, just due to the fact that the credit card company expects the basically the customers to be there at all times. It's not really built, for how it's used in most martial arts schools, and they, process it on a monthly basis. This device is built for the customer to be present, and in result of that, the billing companies or the credit card companies provide a cheaper rate. Usually it's about 1.7, 1.8% rate. That's the advantage of it. That's the pro. The con, though, it's very time consuming. So imagine if you have 100 customers or members or students, you actually have every month at some point you have to go through these 100 people and manually type in 16-digit credit card number and and the amount and process it. Even if you're fast, still it takes some time to go through all these. And also the fact that you would have to obviously keep track of who needs to be pay, who doesn't need to pay. You have to keep track of whose payment failed, how much they need to pay, all that information. So there's a lot of also tracking involved as well. Now, if you are using this method, we're going to do again a small exercise for you to be able to calculate what your cost is. Doesn't matter of the billing methods and the different options we're going to go through today. Calculating cost is always the same method, and that is total processed times the rate that you have. So let's say we process overall $10,000 in a month, and you can do a daily, monthly, annually. That's dependent on you how you want to basically calculate this. But let's say monthly. So the total amount of transactions you process in that month multiplied by the rate of those transactions of 1.7, 1.8%, or however much that you're paying. And also we have to also calculate the time. How many hours in the month that basically you put in to be able to actually punch in all these numbers, follow up, keep track of all these credit cards, type in the credit cards into your document, your Excel sheet, and all that, so everything that's involved with you processing somebody's, fees. And multiply by the hourly rate that we've calculated not too long ago. So by going through this equation, you will get a better understanding basically of how much your actual cost is. And having this number gives you a good insight of what decision you should make. Maybe in some businesses, this is the best option to take based upon their time, based upon the the value of their time, the total amount that they process, and the rate. So all these are variables that could definitely basically change if and basically help you understand if this is a valuable option for you or not. The next option is billing company. Again, we probably all of us know about it. There's many of them out there, and this is kind of a myth that started, a few years ago, and kind of an, process that was placed mostly in martial arts and fitness industry. And, the idea was that, some companies came in and said, all right, what we're going to do, we're going to handle your entire billing. So just tell us who we should charge and how much we should charge them, have them sign this contract and this agreement, and what we'll do, we'll process those amounts for you on a regular basis, and we deposit their money. Right? They usually deposit the money, once or twice per month. So they process everything, they hold the money, and on the 15th or the 30th of every month, they send you a check. Now, the pros and cons, right? The pros, which honestly I personally don't agree with this, but some people tell me that I like it because I won't have to deal with anything. Right? It's I just leave everything to the company. They can be the bad guy, which personally I don't agree with. And the reason I don't agree with is that collecting funds for the service that you provided is not a bad thing to do. That's the most basic thing in your business. If you go into 7-Eleven and you pick up a pack of gum, it's expected for you to pay, and it's expected for the teller to ask for you to pay for it. So it's really that's where I don't really understand how it could be a pro. But I've added it in there just because I've heard it, right? It's because some people have a fear to actually dealing with financials themselves. But if that's the case, then that's a pro, because you don't deal with it. You just pass it off to somebody else. It will never be your name on any of those transactions. It's just totally outside of your control and your hands. The cons of that is it's very expensive to basically use a billing company. Usually the rates start from 5%. Sometimes if you've been with the company for a really long time, maybe 4%. That's usually for EFT transaction, and they go up to 10%. So that's about 4 to 10% of your entire revenue of your business, and that's paid. So basically somebody collects the funds on a regular basis for you and provide those funds to you. The other con that I see is loss of ownership of the client agreement. This is actually something that not many people know about, but if you are actually using a billing company, in most cases, basically the billing company provides you the student or member agreement that you need to have the student sign. On that member agreement, if you read it, it's actually your student agreeing that they will basically be in a relationship with the billing company, not with your business. And this will create a big risk for your business, because at the end of the day, your business does not own those agreements or those contracts, and that's a very risky thing. So tomorrow, if you decide to choose a different option, or tomorrow you decide that you want to do something else with your business, that always basically is a risk that you have to factor in, because at the end of the day, you actually don't own basically those agreements. All right. The other thing that I haven't mentioned here, depending on the billing company, I didn't mention here because it's not the norm. It is offered sometimes depending on the billing company, and that's also dealing with the collection. That's also something that some people usually tell me that they like, and also some people tell me they don't like. And that's, depending on the billing company you choose, sometimes they actually, handle your, per se, delinquency or overdue payment. So they would send emails, letters, or in some cases, they will contact your clients if they're behind on payment. Now, that could be both pro and con. The pro is obviously you won't have to do it yourself. The con is that, you don't know what kind of conversations happen during those calls or those emails, because usually what is the norm is, it goes really an old school collection method. So it goes right away with, using the fear tactic that they will contact your member or your customer saying that if they don't pay, their credit will be hurt, and so on and so forth. Why I don't like that is that, when somebody contacts and basically puts fear in your customers, let's say you have a customer that has been with you for many years and all their payments have been in time, and they paid all their membership fees or their fees on time, their subscription fees on time. So one day, due to some financial issue, they're just behind on their payment, they're late on their payment, and right away, basically, they get basically a call like that from a company, a third-party company, scaring them that their credit will be hurt. Right away, a conversation like that could potentially destroy the relationship that you built with that customer over the years. And that's potentially very bad, right? So that's also one thing I want to kind of throw out in there. I didn't put it on the table just because it's not always offered. It's depending to the billing company. The ones that usually charge higher rates, they offer such service as well. Now, same calculation. If you are using a billing company, you are able to actually just calculate the cost for yourself, and you can, basically using the same formula. The next option is the bank, right? I see this every now and then. It's not a common option, but some banks offer some sort of merchant services, either online merchant services or basically other methods. Also, there are other companies similar, that I would put under the same category of bank, like PayPal, let's say, which also do collection or fund collections. The advantages and pros and cons of these is, well, the pro is that they have cheap rates. They offer very competitive rates because they just offer the billing service alone and not anything extra or unnecessary services. The con of that is it's very time consuming again. As I understand it, the reason why is because it's a complete separate system. Again, you have to keep track of who should pay and what they should pay, and every time somebody joins you would have to actually go in and manually add it. Every time somebody changes their credit card information, you would have to actually log into your bank and actually change that information. So it requires some maintenance, and because it's a complete different system, it's basically it's standalone. So it's a lot of double entries involved. So you probably have some sort of management system that you keep track of your students or basically your customers, maybe PerfectMIND, maybe Mass, or maybe other management systems. But every time somebody's behind their payment, you would now have to go back in your management system and populate the right fields and information in there as well. So all that creates a lot of time that you have to spend in basically maintaining this method. Once again, the cost calculation works exactly the same way. Very simple formula, and you can just put in your numbers and actually get that cost. The next option is automated billing. Automated billing is any type of system that you put in basically what you need to put in. For example, who the customer is, how much they need to pay, what method they will be using, and what days in a month or week or basically year they need to actually pay you. So you created some sort of recurrence pattern. And what happens moving forward, the money will be charged automatically and it will be deposited into your bank account. Right? This is anything that follows these basic criteria, I've consider as an automated billing option. Now, the pros and cons of this is cheap rates. So basically, usually, if anybody's offering you that kind of service, they have them, very competitive rates. Again, because there's, they just offering the tools to you. And lastly, it's time saving because you don't actually have to follow up or maintain who needs to pay you or what, when they need to pay you. All that happens automatically. Now we're going to take and the cost. Sorry, I missed that. The cost is essentially the same again formula, so you can put in the numbers and calculate that for yourself. Now we're going to do a quick survey. In this survey, I just want to kind of get a better understanding of what everybody is basically using, what method. So if you wouldn't mind, basically just kind of punch in from the 4 options available to you, what billing method you're currently using. Are you using any of the in-house option? Are you using a full service or a billing company? Are you basically doing billing to your bank, or you're using a billing direct? What we're going to do, we're going to go to our next slide. Now that kind of I have a better understanding of basically who is using what. What we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about basically a challenge that I want to put in, challenge time. So the challenge that I want to basically present to everyone is very simple. If at this point, I'm actually just going to also provide my suggestion, but if the suggestion that I basically make to you guys, if it's followed, I can promise you guys 2 things. One, I can promise you guys that I'm going to help everyone who actually follows these steps basically to control their spending, to stop wasting money and start saving both time and also basically just money on the rates. And the second promise that I'm going to make to you guys is that I can make sure that your billing is turned into a fully automated method, time-saving, and money stacking system in just 30 days. Now, how would I do that? Easy. We have a system called Perfect Billing or Billing Direct. Now, what are the advantages of this system called Billing Direct? One, it's international, and we're going to talk about all these points that I mentioned in more detail in just a second. 2, you're going to save a lot of money. Why? Rates are very, very cheap. 3, you're going to save a lot of time. Reason behind that is because first, it's basically it's fully automated. So as soon as you put in somebody, the money will be in your account and everything will happen when it should happen. 4, we can connect all aspects of your business together. This is what it basically differentiates this billing method from any other billing method that you've seen out there. And that is really connecting all angles of your business together and to potentially save you, again, more time. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more detail so you get a better understanding of what are these different angles of your business and how it connects them all together. And 5, know what's going on at all times. So great reporting engine that can tell you exactly what's happening in your business, what's going to happen on your business, and so on and so forth. So the first thing we talked about is international. So we process, using Billing Direct, we can process basically multiple countries and in different currencies. So it doesn't matter where you are. If you're in the United States, if you're in Canada, if you're in United Kingdom, and Australia, we actually have a billing method available to you. And basically, you're able to, again, use your system, integrate it fully with Billing Direct to be able to actually collect those funds with the specific currencies for those countries. Next, well, it's cheap. Now, you might ask, what is cheap? All right, so we're going to go over the rates quickly. For United States, for EFT transaction, that means if you're actually charging somebody through their bank account. So you put in the routing number and the account number into the system and you process directly from their bank account. The rate is only 14 cents per transaction. Yes, only 14 pennies essentially. That's unheard of in the industry. I challenge anyone who can find anything cheaper than that. And for credit cards, we charge 2.09% up to 3.49% plus 20 cents a transaction. Now, why there's a range is because of different credit card types. This is the norm in any type of credit card processing. Even if you have a terminal at the school or at your business right now, same thing happens. You don't pay the same rate for every single credit card you process. For regular credit cards, Visa, MasterCard, you pay a cheaper rate versus, these either reward credit cards or business credit cards. If it's, let's say Sears or, Home Depot credit card, these types of credit cards actually have a higher rate. And that's why the difference is. The range is between 2.09% and up to 3.49% plus 20 cents a transaction. So for a $100 transaction, you could pay from $2 and up to $3.50. For Canada, we charge again for EFT transaction, same fee, 14 cents a transaction. And for credit cards in Canada is a bit higher. In Canada, competition is not as high as United States, so there are less companies offering billing options, and the rates is typically usually higher with banking and credit card processing. The rate that's offered in Canada is 2.89% plus 20 cents a transaction. So what that means for a $100 transaction, again, you pay about $2.89 plus 20 cents, so roughly about $3.10. In UK, credit card rates are 2.6% plus 25 pence actually. Did it basically put in the proper currency icon here. So 2.6% plus 25 pence. And we only currently offer credit card services in UK. Actually, in United Kingdom right now, EFT, both in United Kingdom and actually other places in Europe, EFT options are not common at all. Most banks don't accept EFT, and that's why it's a service we don't offer yet. And in Australia, it's upon request. The rates are very similar to the rates you saw on top. However, we would have to actually basically submit an application on your behalf, and then you'll be able to actually see your rates. Now, if you want to kind of get a better perspective of how much you will be paying if you use Billing Direct, what you can do, you can actually go into our website and go into the specific link actually that I have on the bottom, billing.championsway.com. What this will do, it will take you to a calculator which does a very simple calculation for you. It asks you how many members you have, how much in average you charge them. So, $120, $110 per month. That's the average rate you put. You can put in, basically what percentage of people are paying with credit card and what percentage of people are paying with EFT. So is it a 50-50 split, or do you have more people, like 80% of people paying with credit card and 20% EFT, or whatever that percentage is? You can type in those basically values in there for yourself. You can also basically put in, if you are currently using a billing company or have a billing method in place, you can put in basically the rate that you're currently paying with them. Now, and there's a calculate button. By pressing that, it will calculate how much you will be paying in monthly basis, in annual basis, and we'll compare it, and it will tell you if you're going to save money or you're not. And this is, again, only strictly basically calculating the rates and comparing the rates together. It's not considering the time that you put in. But in 98% of the cases, when I had anyone to put in their values in there, the numbers in there, they would have seen a saving right away. Next point is time saver. Well, it's easy to use. That's one way that you can save time. So it doesn't take you a long time for you to be able to add somebody into billing or have the system to automatically charge them. Takes maybe a minute per student for the finance info to be populated, for you to choose what they need to pay, how much and on what dates they need to pay, and how often they need to pay. 2, add someone to billing in a matter of seconds. So again, the same idea. It's very easy for you to be able to put somebody into billing. 3 is automated deposits. So you don't have to worry about getting a check every month and depositing it to your bank account, or getting cash and then depositing into your bank account, or any types of handling funds or and deposits. Everything is automatic. When you process a transaction, it will be deposited into your bank account a few days later, which brings me to the next point. It's basically fast deposits. We don't hold money using the billing direct method. What we do essentially do with billing direct, we actually make each business their own billing company. So comparing to one of the options that, we talked about different billing methods, and one of them was billing company. We essentially make you a billing company. So you have the full powers of what a billing company would have, and in results, there is no middleman involved for you. You get connected directly to the banks. Champions Way is not stepping in to actually handle your billing. We only connect it to the software to make it easier for you to use it. As soon as you process a transaction, if it's a credit card transaction, 2 business days after the transaction is done, you'll see the money on your bank account. So if you process $10 today, on Monday morning, you'll have $10 in your bank account. If you process $10 on Monday morning, on Wednesday morning, you have $10 in your bank account. I'm sure you guys get the point. If it's an EFT transaction, it takes 7 business days for the money to go into your bank account. Same idea, and it does it in daily batches. So if you process 10 transactions of $100 in a day, you'll receive a deposit of $1,000. Next point is automated reprocessing. This is one of those basically advantages that the system has. One system that we have in place is automatic reprocessing. It's been proven, and it's actually a true stat, that 65% of transactions, failed transactions, are successfully, basically processed upon reprocessing. So what we do, we basically, if something fails, a few days later, we automatically reprocess it. And you can change those settings. We obviously have, specific settings that we advise, and we have it by default set up in our systems that every 3 days, the system will try reprocessing that credit card transaction up to 4 times. And usually about 65 to 75% of all failed transactions will go through during those reprocessing methods. So this is also a very basically a big time saver and also money saver for you. The reason it's time saver is because, first of all, you don't have to manually reprocess it, and also you don't have to deal with those people and those failed payments, because 70% of them, 65 to 75% of them, will go away without you even knowing. The next thing is automation and integration. this is one thing that I can confidently say that there are not many companies or people out there that can offer, and that's integrating all your tools, including billing, into one basically full system. What I mean by that is, your automated billing is obviously a big option, but that also connects to our system in PerfectMIND and automated emails. What that means is as soon as somebody basically payments fail, what you can do in the system, you can set up automated emails to go out to those failed payments and those customers and contacts. So right away, as soon as the payment fails, maybe one day after the failed payment, the person receives an email saying, hey, your payment has failed. Please basically let us know if you have any financial method that you want to basically us to use, or if you should reprocess a payment. You can have another one go out 5 days later, 10 days later, 15 days later, and maybe your wording changes as it gets later. In 60 days, maybe you use a harsher wording, but you have the control yourself to be able to set up these emails with and have them go out in whatever period of time that you choose to have them go out. Also, you can use automated emails to not only just basically communicate to people who have failed payments, but maybe to people who have successful payments, maybe a receipt of their transaction, or maybe for people to prevent some basic overdue or delinquent payments by contacting customers who have an expired credit card before the charge goes through. So maybe a month before the credit card expires, you can have an email to automatically go out to them and say, hey, we know your credit card is going to expire. When you do get the new expiry to your new financial method, please let us know. Or better yet, which we were going to talk about, have links to your online portal that it will allow people to just log in and update their financial methods themselves. So it actually takes you out of the equation. The next option that, kind of the whole thing integrates to is your client check-in system. In most businesses, in fitness, in yoga, in dance, in martial arts, most of the businesses actually have some sort of checking system, attendance system. So when your members come in, they scan their card, they punch in their number, or they just tell you their name, and you have some sort of way to actually track if they were there or not, or if they attended or they didn't. Well, this system, our billing, it also integrates with this check-in system. So if somebody's behind on their payment, if somebody's overdue, the system will first of all warn the staff member, and also can actually provide a message to the customer. It doesn't have to be something as harsh as you behind on payments. It could be just something very settled. Please see front desk, right? And what you can do, you can either have text messages to show up on the screen, or what you can do better yet, you can have audio messages to play. Maybe just a recording of your voice saying, please see front desk for in regards to your account, or please see front desk. Just as settled as that. They come to you at the front desk and you'll be able to pull up their account, and you right away know that they're behind on payments, and you actually go into the right process of updating their financial method. Online portal, I quickly touched on the online portal. Our system has an ability for you to have your students or your members log in to your online portal from your website, and they'll be able to see their account information. They'll also be able to see their financial info, and if they have a new financial method, they can actually update, or basically, add a new financial method in the system, which will automatically change their transactions to it, and basically they will be charged using that method moving forward. And lastly, full integration with your point of sale system and your online store. So the same billing system that we built for your automated billing can also be used for your POS. So whenever you're selling an item, you're basically selling a gear, you're selling a uniform, a bottle of water, snacks, anything that you sell in your business can also be processed using the same method. So essentially, you would not require another billing options such as a terminal from the bank. If you choose to have it, that's fine. We can work basically side by side. But if you don't want to actually, go through the rental fee for the equipment or the monthly fee that's involved with having that service, you can actually just drop that service and only have billing direct as your billing method. And lastly, online store. So if you wish, you can actually have an online store on your website so you can sell products or memberships and subscriptions online, and using the same, essentially, the billing method. So you don't actually have to go now to different companies. You have one basically company provide you, billing options for your POS and point of sale. Another company like PayPal or other companies out there offering you online store capabilities, and another company offering you automated billing options. The other point is reports and statistics. It's always important for you to know basically what's going on in your business. So some of the reports you can get is, for example, overdue contacts and invoices. Who's behind? Whose payment failed? So very easy report that can show you who failed and basically which invoices are behind. And just kind of give you guys a fact. It's not common. You obviously have payments that or contacts that go overdue on their payments, but it's not a big number. We have basically, we process over 4,000 businesses in a monthly basis, in an ongoing basis, and we only have maybe 20 people actually, or 20 accounts that are overdue on payments, and 90% of those cases are either expired financial methods, either it's an expired credit card, or it's, and something that's unfortunately getting common is fraud happening on credit cards, so people change their credit card number often. So, but that's usually the most of it. It's not really common for somebody to just avoid paying you, and for you not being able to just collect from them by just a quick call or an email. Other report is expired finance info. Again, you can have it as a report, or you can have it on an automated email, but it can show you whose credit card information or financial method is expiring. So this way you know who to follow up before their payment fails. Income for any range of dates. So if you want to know, how much money you made during a specific range of dates, you can definitely do that. It's a total adjustable report, which will allow you to actually run any sorts of range and find out how much money was collected during any range of date. You can also have other information like the money that you collected. What categories they fall in there, how much money you've collected from your POS and Pro Shop sales, or from your products versus your memberships and subscription, or your events, that if you do events and you collect funds for them. Forecast report, it's a very essential piece of information that any business needs to know, and that is how much money they're expected to bring in the next month. Obviously, this can never be 100% because there's a lot of money you collect, that's not scheduled, but this will show you an overall what is scheduled to go through next month. So this gives you a better understanding if you want to, spend money on a marketing method, or you want to basically invest in something. It gives you a better understanding of what you will be bringing in next month, so you can actually do a better planning. You can compare statistics between any range of date. This is also important for you to know where your business is going and if your business is doing better or doing worse, right? So what I mean by that, you can, for example, compare this week versus last week, or you can compare January 2013 versus January 2012. So see if your business is going upwards or downwards. And lastly, a live dashboard. So a one-stop shop for you to see everything in regards to your business, including your billing. This is a new feature that's going to be included in PerfectMIND, and it's going to look something like this. This is our dashboard, which we are very excited. Now, this was just a demo database I took, so the numbers are definitely not real, but this will tell you how many members or students you have. It will tell you how much billing you've collected so far for the range of date that I've selected. Right now on this screenshot is selected for this month, so it's telling me this is the amount of money I've collected for that month. It tells me how much overdue I have. Obviously, this is a demo database, so nobody is collecting funds on it, and results it's the overdue amount is ridiculously high. And also on the bottom versus financial performance, it tells you overall how much money you're collecting from memberships, how much of it is for new memberships, how much of it is for renewed membership, how much money you collected from your products or other type of sales. And also it compares it. As you see, there are two bars in there. There's a blue bar, which is the last month, and there's a purple bar, which is this month. So just comparing the two together, right away you can tell how much overall net income you're doing versus the last period of time, and in your product sales and your renewal sales and so on and so forth. And lastly, it gives you a total growth percentage if you're going down or if you're going up from the beginning of the year. Now, you might ask, what will it take for you to basically get billing set up on your business? Well, you don't need a lot of time to actually get this set up. You just need some billing applications and merchant applications to be filled out. They're super simple. They're just a couple of pages that you need to fill out. You need to submit it to us, and it takes us maximum of 10 businesses for us to get everything set up and connected into your application if you're using PerfectMInd. Two, you don't need any capital. It's not going to cost you anything. You don't need to actually, purchase any type of equipment to be able to actually get this thing going. And lastly, you don't need any technical skills. Yes, you need to know how to use it, but it's not any basically skill that you're not able to gain with watching a 10-minute video or with having somebody walking you through it in 5 minutes or so. So very simple for you to actually learn, the skills necessary, which is not technical at all. Now, you might ask how much this will cost you. Is it $200 a month? No, it's not. Is it $100 a month? Actually, it's not even $100 a month. It will cost you less than $50 a month. Now, I'm one of those only people that will, in any company I will tell you there's a fee. And the reason why is because it's not a fee that our company will charge. This is not basically a fee that you would have to pay in addition to your subscription fee that you're currently paying Champions Way. The reason I say less than $50 a month is because having merchant accounts. Now, if you currently have merchant accounts to your bank, to your terminal for your business, to a billing company, you're already aware of this. Having merchant accounts involves some monthly fees. Now, merchant companies name these different things. They call it, statement fee. They call it gateway fee. Whatever that they want to call it, let's just sum it all together. When you want to charge people through credit cards and bank accounts and want to have those methods basically in your business, overall, you should expect less than $50 a month. It's actually $45 per month that will cost you. And this is, again, nothing that you would have to pay us, and it is something that you're probably already paying towards your other merchant companies. So, and this is, I just put it in there to basically ensure that I cover all the details with you guys. Now, we have an actual special. If you do choose basically you want to take on this automated billing option and accept my challenge that I put forward earlier on this presentation, what we are going to do, we are going to waive off any setup fees. Now, in the United States, there are no setup fees at all. But in UK, Canada, and Australia, there is a one-time setup or application fee involved. We're going to waive that off. Could be from $50 and up to $150 of application fees that you can save right away. 2, we are going to provide you a free credit card swiper. This is going to save you even more time. What this is a USB device that you can connect basically to your computer, and instead of typing in somebody's credit card number, what you can do if you're on the right page, maybe like you're in the store or the checkout section of PerfectMInd, you can just swipe the credit card number or the credit card on the swiper, and it will actually populate all the necessary fields for you. So this will right away also save you a lot of time as well. If you're doing a lot of POS transaction, each time that you swipe the card, it's going to right away save you 10 to 15 seconds. So it adds up. And this is something that's valued at $120, a one-time fee for us to actually send this equipment, and this is the value that we're actually selling it for right now. If you as part of this promotion, we will basically offer this free to you, and so no extra charge. We'll offer you a free credit card swiper. And lastly, we will give you free collection email template. So this will be emails that can go out to people on different ranges of date. We have few created on the first day, on the 7th day, on the 14th day, on the 30th day, and the 60th day. We have those already made. We can provide you the templates. In addition to that, we have templates that will go out to people that have their credit card expiring in the next 30 days. So you can approach those and prevent actually overdue payments by approaching those people first and having them to update their financial methods with you. Now, with any type of specials or basically promotions, obviously it ends. This promotion ends by end of the day tomorrow, which is a Friday, 8th of February 2013. So at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, this promotion will end. Now, what usually happens in any type of presentation, at this point somebody comes and says, you know, here are the testimonials, you know, of different people. I'm going to do something that's probably going to, you know, basically most people are afraid to do. And instead of actually just having basically having screenshots of different writings or different emails that people have sent us, I'm going to have you guys actually take that challenge in yourself. And nowadays the world is a social world. You know, everybody talks, and there's a very easy way for you to be able to communicate with other people. So what I basically present to you guys is go to any of our social media channels, including our Champions Way Lounge. If you go into our website, championsway.com, there's a tab called Lounge. This is a way for you to be able to communicate with us and also our clients. Post a question. Ask how other people feel about our billing, and you will be able to get live and true answers from our existing customers. So this way, you know, again, you can actually go on a full conversation with people and also ask about their experience as well, and if they like the billing direct, and if it has changed their life or not. Now, if you are interested in this, you are able to actually contact our product specialists, and you can reach them at phone number 877-774-5425, and from the menu you would choose option 1, or you can email them at sales@championsway.com. I hope you guys enjoyed the webinar. At this point, we will basically be going to questions. I know there are some questions that has already been basically posted. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through them one by one, read the answers or read the questions, and do my best to answer them. Now, I have a question in regards to how basically you would collect from someone that, you know, basically does not pay you after the emails and after the calls. First of all, just kind of explain how I would basically do collection myself. First of all, I would do very soft collection methods, which is the automated emails. Now, in every business, we had a school in New Jersey that we actually converted to billing direct with 600 basically students, active paying students, and in a monthly basis, there was about, you know, a handful of people that basically went overdue, about, you know, between 5 to 10 maximum 10 people. So in those cases, we had one person just make a couple of calls per month to those people and just let them know. It's not a you know, call that you want to actually, you know, leave a message saying that you know, we're calling for your payment. You will call, you would just check in and everything's okay, and also mention that they're behind in the payment and the credit card number has changed, or they should be reprocessed. It takes literally to do all the calls for all your, you know, even if you have a 600 member business on subscription and monthly pays, it takes maybe overall about, you know, 15 to 20 minutes to make all the calls in the month. And maybe every year you got 1 or 2 people that will just avoid paying you, right? These guys will go above and beyond, you know, to stop paying you. They'll close their bank account. They'll close their basically, they cancel their credit card. They change even their phone number. You know, once in a while something like that happens. Again, it's not often, but maybe you'll have one of those every year. In those cases, if you choose, you know, you can let it go. If you think that basically it's not worth it for you to actually go after that person, you can completely let it go. Or B, what you can do, you can approach a local collection company in your city or town. These collection companies, they essentially work on commission. So what you do, you give them the original contract that you have with that member. You tell them that they're supposed to pay you this much by end of the contract, which they haven't paid you. And what they do some sort of a percentage agreement with you. They say, all right, if I go in, chase this person and have them pay me 30% of what I collect. So it has no risk for you. This is a loss money essentially, and it's like having an insurance company that you only pay for when you have an accident. So instead of paying monthly for an insurance company to make sure everybody pays, you only pay when basically you're not able to collect something. And again, it's a very, very rare situation. In in my 6 years of being in a company that we charge 4,000 people on a regular basis, it happened a handful of times, and some people will let go and some people will send to collection. It's just a norm of any business. All right. Well, I want to thank everyone for their time and basically watching this presentation. Once again, if you have any further questions in regards to what I covered today, you're more than welcome to contact our product specialist at phone number 877-774-5425 and option 1 from the menu, or sales@championsway.com. If you're already a Billing Direct customer, you're more than welcome to contact our support team at phone number 877-774-5425 and option 2 from the menu. Once again, my name is Nima Jazbi, and thank you very much for attending this webinar.